Live from the Washington, D.C. area, it's the Inside Scoop, Emerald Planet. All the ecology news that our viewers want to know. Now, here's your host, Executive Director of the Emerald Planet, Dr. Sam Lee Hancock.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, services, and the products that are serving the globe as we move towards 2050. As we look at 2050 and we add 2 billion new people to the planet, how are we going to be able to provide the basic infrastructure, the food, the fuel, the fiber, all the things we need to actually enhance the quality of life? And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me. His name is Charles. He goes by Chuck H. Botwick, who is Managing Director of the Dulles Technology and Trade Center. And also he's the president of what's called the CHB Infrastructure Technology and Marketing Group, which means he controls the universe. Chuck, welcome back.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. And you're really looking at all the things that are going on around the globe as far as basic infrastructure and all the essentials that we need for humankind as we go to a planet of 9 billion. So what is this Dulles Technology and Trade Center?
Well, the whole idea of the center is to bring together in one place a unique assemblage of innovative technology for just what you talked about, all the needs of the planet: water, power, security, housing, communications. We have so much rapidly evolving technology. The center is focused on enabling new technology to be applied in the right way where it can do the most good.
Now we're talking about Dulles International Airport, not Dallas, Texas. So why Dulles?
Well, Dulles is the gateway to Washington, D.C., and what we call the National Capital Region. And we have 190 plus embassies. We have all the major multilateral institutions of the world. Every major private corporation in the world has people here. We have tens of thousands of subject matter experts. The whole world comes to Washington.
I tell you, that's absolutely fantastic. And being involved in a number of your events, you've had just about representatives from everyone on the globe. You've had Africa, Asia, Latin America, the Middle East, even Europe involved in all this, as well as people from all aspects of the United States. So looking at this, why bring all these people together? People are saying we have the internet, we can do things by Skype, by telephone, we have all this social media, and yet you're actually bringing people into Washington, D.C. to see each other face to face. What's the purpose of that?
Well, first of all, we're showcasing state-of-the-art technology, and there's nothing like, as we Americans say, kicking the tires, getting to touch, see, and feel how things work, what they can do, and for training to be able to use them. Also, it's about bringing people together to facilitate relationships. Relationships and networks get things done in the world. So we're bringing people together in unique ways, bringing technology together in unique ways, and enabling innovators to penetrate new markets by having their technology packaged with other capabilities.
Looking at this, people that are in the millennials, as they call them, and you're very much into social media, yet, you look at this photograph here, people are really sharing information, going back and forth, trying to build those relationships. So when the people are coming here, and they're coming literally from all over the globe and sitting down and having these experiences, and obviously there's a need for that, Chuck, because you keep doing this every month. And now it's even expanding to have larger audiences. What are they doing around this table that's so unique that they really can't do through the internet and social media?
Well, they're sharing one-on-one capabilities and needs. And there's nothing like personal contact. And also in these events, we're doing a little bit of matchmaking. We're putting together groups that have defined needs with groups that have innovations in technology that can solve their problems in a complex, integrated way.
So, and then Washington, D.C., you're saying the world comes to Washington, D.C., but it's just amazing. You talked about the thousands, literally, of the subject matter experts that we have here, not including the embassies and the multinational bodies like the World Bank and International Monetary Fund, the Organization of American States. Yet we have these fantastic facilities, and we're looking at a photograph of one of those that's actually 730 acres, and we figured that out. That's actually 200 and almost 95 hectares for the world as far as measurements. So what are we looking at here, and the importance of something like this in the Washington, D.C. area that's unique?
Well, the picture shows an aerial photograph of a facility, about 300 hectares, about 730 acres, which is about 1 hour from Dulles Airport. It's actually in West Virginia. It's called BSR Summit Point. And this facility allows us to conduct real-time exercises and training in what would be called a greenfields environment. Basically, to go out into a large area and to actually deploy equipment and technology. For example, what's on the screen now is an aerostat that would be deployed in a disaster situation. It goes up in the atmosphere with a camera package and a communications package.
The eyes in the sky.
Eyes in the sky gives situational awareness, can provide communications when other communications is out. So we'll be conducting actually live mock disasters and other training exercises at this facility.
Well, also, too, going back to this layout of the 730, almost 300 hectare area, there's much else going on here so that you can do all types of training. There's classrooms and all those things. What other kinds of things besides being in the field and having great space within which to show all the various technologies being used? What else do you have in this kind of environment?
Well, actually at this facility, uniquely, there are 3 race tracks that are used to train drivers. They can simulate everything from a typical accident to a terrorist incident to a disaster situation. And these are used by individuals from all over the world for training. There's also operations there where security personnel are trained and so forth. A lot of off-road facilities as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to put up some more of these things because this really shows the essence of what you're doing as far as a center. And if I remember correctly, there were probably about 10 to 12 different countries represented among this whole group. So what is coming out of that? What is happening through the center? Again, going back to this uniqueness where you have people coming from all over the globe. They're sitting down and getting to know each other. How do they leverage that so it's worth their time to make this long trip and to sit down, in a room and have this kind of conversation?
Well, actually, we're making very efficient use of time for high-level officials or other end users by having a one-stop shop to integrate solutions. We're doing such things in the world as in Mongolia with our various partners, integrating housing, water, new building materials, solar power, so forth into a complete package.
Yeah, it's just really amazing the various technologies you have. And of course, Emerald Planet's all about what we call the 1,000 best practices, the best of the best technology services and products. So when they come in, they have a chance to actually look at these things. Then how does that translate to getting it out to the field where people actually can and do need to use this?
Well, what we're looking at is to enable innovators to actually apply their technology in a way that solves the end user's problem. So we're facilitating a business between innovators and end users.
So looking at this whole thing, we're also emphasizing innovation, collaboration, and this is something I know that you're all about, and you've been about this through your whole professional career, about innovation and then also sustainability and all that. What are some of the other buzzwords that you're using, and how do you translate that through the Dulles Technology and Trade Center?
Very, very good question. One of the biggest buzzwords these days is resiliency, as relates to the ability of communities to withstand disruption from whatever the event might be, whether it's climate change or a climate incident or social unrest, whatever it might be. Resiliency means that you have to have innovative systems that can outlast difficult situations. And disasters are actually no more than trying to create a web of infrastructure systems that support life. So some are mobile and some are fixed.
Yeah, looking at this, of course, we have all these various, again, going back to this whole litany, technology, services, the products, but also you do quite a bit of training through all of this, and you're bringing in these subject matter experts. So for them, how do you identify them and include them and fold them in to the overlapping services through the center?
We see training as one of the most central functions of the center. Training both in the use of technology and also training professionals in up-to-date methods. Almost every professional group requires continuing education to stay germane in their fields. We hope to do that within a fixed facility and also out at the 730-acre facility.
Yeah, looking at the people coming in, many times when you invite the various localities, city, counties, towns even, and the states, you know, travel budgets are becoming more and more expensive, but at the same time, it looks like that you're actually getting more participation. So is it through the CEU continuing education credits that they feel like they're actually doubling or even tripling the amount of impact they're getting and the investment that they're making?
Well, that's a good point. The continuing education credits that are required by many professions are one of the goals of the long-term training objectives we have. And for these organizations, usually every year there are budgets for training. It's necessary in order to operate, whereas just to travel to go see things is optional.
Right. Yeah, and it's just amazing the variety that you have and all that. Looking at the various technologies, and we're almost out of time, what are some of the different things that actually are being covered through the center, and what do you see going forward? And we have about 30 seconds to do all that, Chuck.
Well, I would put it into themes of water, power, communications, security, state-of-the-art medical devices, and the integration of those systems together so that they work together, whether it's in a village, a city, in a disaster situation, or in long-term development.
Yeah, and what we're seeing here really is where you're putting things together as a package, and it may be more than one company that's doing these kinds of things. So, well, we're just out of time. We'll have this conversation as we go forward. This is Chuck Botwick, who is the Managing Director of the Dulles Technology and Trade Center and President of the CHP Infrastructure, Technology and Marketing as we create the Emerald Planet.
Some dreams are universal. Dreams that inspire us. Multiple sclerosis is a devastating disease that changes lives forever. The National MS Society does more for people with MS than any organization in the world. But we can't do it alone. To get involved, visit us online at nationalmssociety.org or call 1-800-FIGHT-MS. This is why we're here. Because nobody dreams of having multiple sclerosis.
What's wrong with this picture? Half of young Americans can't locate economic powers like Japan and India. 20% can't even find the Pacific Ocean. Without geography, our children aren't ready for the world. Geography is everywhere. It's incredible creatures, rhythm, fashion, flavor. It's economics and politics. It's change. Understanding connections between people and places is critical in the 21st century. That's why we created mywonderfulworld.org. Go there now for your free parent and teacher action kits and give our kids the power of global knowledge. Because kids who understand our world today can succeed in it tomorrow.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technologies, the services, and the products that we're going to need as we add 2 billion new people to the planet by 2050. And of course, one of the most critical needs that we have, actually the very essence of life, is water. And we have a gentleman who is actually working on all aspects of that. And we may touch a little bit also in the wastewater treatment, but focusing primarily on water. This is Alan Weiss, who is the CEO of Global Water Group. He's coming in by Skype. And then sitting right beside me is our special guest, Charles Botwick, who is the Managing Director of the Dulles Technology and Trade Center. And also he's the president of CHB Infrastructure Technology and Marketing Group, LLC. It's a long title you got there and long name, but anyway, glad to have you, Chuck.
Glad
thank
to
you
be
for
here.
being with us. And Alan, thank you for coming in by Skype. Are you here?
Well, thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you here. Welcome. And as we were talking about the need for water, of course, in the world, it's about 1.5 billion people who do not have access to, in many cases, any water, but definitely clean water. And then there's about 3.5 billion that do not have access to any type of wastewater treatment. And these really go hand in hand. But tell us a little bit about the Global Water Group.
Well, since 1990, Global Water Group has been a manufacturer of state-of-the-art water processing equipment for the U.S. and other militaries, for disaster relief agencies, industry, remote villages, homes, new residential areas, and industrial developments. Global's been building water systems for the U.S. Special Forces for over 24 years. We make systems for a faucet or a city. For the military, we manufacture everything from specialized backpacks to base camp systems. We make emergency mobile systems for VA hospitals, state emergency management agencies, humanitarian and church groups all over the world. We purify water from any source, fresh water, brackish water, and seawater, and we make wastewater and recycling systems. Global systems have been deployed to 5 continents and to over 40 countries.
That is a huge footprint, Alan, that you have, and it's wonderful work that you're doing. And it's very impressive because many companies, either they focus on the water, they focus on wastewater, but you really put it together as a package, and I think that's very important. So looking at the systems that you have, what is different of your units versus, say, a standard municipal system that you would have in the United States or any locality around the globe?
With few exceptions, municipal drinking water systems in the United States and in most of the world do not purify water for domestic consumption. By and large, these systems employ what I call archaic technology that only makes the water look clearer and cleaner and try to reduce organic and inorganic contaminants to what are deemed acceptable levels. Municipal systems are designed to move water more than clean them. There's only 3 things that you need to purify water. 1, you have to remove parasites. 2, you have to remove hazardous chemicals. And 3, you have to kill bacteria and viruses. The World Health Organization tells us that almost no municipal systems do all 3 of those requirements, primarily because municipal systems move so much volume, they can't safely solve those problems. All of Global's water systems, from the smallest to the largest, actually follows all 3 of those principles: removing parasites, removing hazardous chemicals, and killing bacteria and viruses. Every one of our systems purify water.
Well, I tell you, it's wonderful that you're doing all that, and of course we have thousands around the globe that are watching this that are actually with municipal governmental levels, and so the challenge has been put out there, Alan, and thank you for doing that. But since we're doing very well by Skype, I'm going to go ahead and let Chuck ask the next question. Chuck?
Hello, Alan.
Hi, Charles.
Nice to talk to you. Global Water has developed a pretty robust platform of water purification systems, and given the huge requirements and adding 2 billion people, and not to mention that all the animals in the world that need clean water to support the human population, what do you see as Global Water solutions for purified water? And also, could you comment on the scalability of the systems?
Well, the future to provide pure and healthy water for human consumption worldwide is an enormous problem because of both population growth and the growing contamination of our water sources. A few years ago, in a joint venture with the U.S. Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, Colorado, Global Water, using nanotechnology, developed and filed a worldwide patent for a new nano water purification filter that will revolutionize the purification of water better than any previous process. It'll replace every type of water filter replacement in our homes to truly purify tap water in your home. And for the third world, this new filter will work on gravity feed, doesn't even need power. And because waterborne diseases are the largest cause of death worldwide, it will save more lives than any other preventive medicine process. And this definitely will be one of the most important water processing inventions for the next 50 years.
So looking at the technology we have right in front of us, Alan, and this is a small sample of what it is that you can do, and really this goes to Chuck's question, and maybe you can address that as far as scalability. But what is special about this new nanotechnology, and what went into discovering this, that some of these large systems, literally worth billions of US dollars, completely missed?
Nanotechnology is new and in many ways, and we looked at it from a different point of view because we know how to purify water. So there are some basics that you have to include with nanotechnology. Once you get into that process and we can actually use one filter to remove all the parasites, all your hazardous chemicals, including pharmaceuticals, which are now in our water, and all those other problems, as well as killing bacteria and viruses, without using chlorine, which creates carcinogens, we change the world. And it's a simple, low-cost process. We have not begun to manufacture it yet. It should be manufactured by the end of the year, and it will then be utilized by everyone, whether you have one faucet in your house or whether it can be used for an entire city.
Going back to this this image that we have right now, tell us a little bit about this. What is it that we actually can't see in all this? And again, going back to the uniqueness of your technology, the nanotechnology that you're getting ready to produce, how does this really change things, and how would a municipality be able to access this so they can actually get at all this purification that you're talking about, Alan?
Well, use the city of Dallas, where I live, as an example. We put out 400 to 800 million gallons of water a day. We have pipes bigger than your room to drive trucks through. In order to remove parasites, you must filter to 1 micron. You can't see anything at 1 micron. Well, there's no way that they could filter to 1 micron when your pipes are that big and you're moving that much water. If you did, you'd get a trickle out of your faucet. And every system around the world is really sized for the volume of water going through. So almost no systems can remove parasites. The biggest parasite in the United States is Cryptosporidium. It's in probably 88 to 90% of the source water in this country. Cryptosporidium is an oocyst that will go right through you. We drink it every day, everybody does, and it goes right through you. If your immune system is good, it just goes right through. If your immune system is compromised, it can attack you and give you the same symptom as the flu. And as we're talking right now in your neighborhood hospital, someone may be dying of Cryptosporidium, but it's really the flu. And if I were venturing a guess, I'd say probably half the flu deaths in the United States and around the world could be Cryptosporidium. So that's the first thing that you don't see, and they don't do it. With this new filter, we can add that into their system, and it will take that out and not slow up the flow rate, which is the big problem. The second thing is to remove hazardous chemicals. And that requires not filtration, but absorption and adsorption. You have to be able to grab hold of these hazardous chemicals. And a good example is carbon. It holds things. But carbon isn't the only thing, and you need a formula of various media that will grab hold of those hazardous chemicals and keep them. If you have the right formula, it could work, but then you need retention time. And none of these municipal systems have retention time. So therefore, even if they had a magic formula, which global water does have, but what they could remove all the hazardous chemicals. What we do in the design of our systems is to size it in components. And as Charles mentioned before, we actually can size up to things because we learned how to use modules instead of big monster systems. And by doing that, we have the right size for it. But with the new nanofilter, it will remove everything. And we can deal with flow rate on a much easier basis.
I'm going to do a follow-on question to that. We've just about run out of time, Alan. But as far as the scalability, can you actually go into any of these existing facilities, apply your technology, and they just keep providing the water, but a much higher and more sophisticated level?
Yes.
Okay, that's the right answer because we're about running out of time, and we're going to go out on this right here. But anyway, we're going to lose you in about 3 seconds. So Alan Weiss, who is the CEO of Global Water Group, thank you for coming to us by Skype. Appreciate you being here. And then Chuck Botwick, who's sitting right beside me. He is the Managing Director of the Dulles Technology and Trade Center and President of CHB Infrastructure Technology and Marketing Group. And we'd like to thank you for being with us as we look at this critical issue of water, how to make it even better and to take care of 9 billion souls by 2050 as we create the Emerald Planet.
There's more than just books at the library.
There's more than just books at the library.
Excuse me.
There's more than just books at the library.
Il n'y a plus que de livres à la bibliothèque.
Hello. You have a lot of great books here today. You know there's more than just books at the library.
I know.
There's more than just books at the library.
I don't want to be hooked to a machine.
I want all the medical treatment available to me.
I wouldn't want my family to have to make this decision.
My doctor knows what's best for me.
An advance directive is your life on your terms. Talk with your family. Decide what's right for you. Then put it in writing.
Documenting my wishes today means my family won't have to make heart-wrenching decisions later.
To learn more, visit www.putitinwriting.org.
1,200 American youth run away from their homes every day. The National Runaway Switchboard is here to help. 1-800-RUNAWAY. If you are a runaway, thinking about running away from home, or a parent or guardian concerned about issues facing your child, call us 24 hours a day. 1 1-800-RUNAWAY. In times of crisis, hope is just a phone call away. 1-800.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we're looking around the globe to find what we call the best of the best practices, the technologies, services, products, processes, and of course the people that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And we have two gentlemen that we're going to be talking with that actually been addressing this for a number of years. I don't know, I've got Chuck Botwick, who's sitting right beside me, the Dallas Technology and Trade Center, and then Alan Weiss is coming in to us by Skype, as you can see. But we're going to be talking about some of these technologies as it relates to water, but really I want to focus on wastewater. Chuck, if we can, and Alan, you're the resident expert as we're together right now. But we're really looking at a globe that's adding 2 billion new people. So we'll be at 9 billion people by 2050. And at the same time, currently we have about 3.5 billion people with no adequate sanitation, and most of it of any kind. And then we're getting 2 billion new people, and then we have to take care of all of these new folks. So Alan, from your perspective and what you're doing with Global Water Group, which you're the head CEO, president of that, what are you doing that's actually addressing this wastewater treatment issue?
Well, wastewater is the #1 contaminant on this earth, period. The toxic sludge from wastewater process contaminates the land we spread it on, and it seeps into the aquifers we use for our drinking water. The effluent coming out of wastewater systems worldwide have concentrations of fecal solids and high concentrations of E. coli, which municipal systems soak with chlorine, which in turn create carcinogens. The world needs to eliminate the sludge from wastewater processing and recycle the wastewater effluent to make it totally reusable.
Now, looking at the recycling, and we're here in Washington, D.C., and this region, and if we look at the water, it's actually coming out of the Potomac or whatever we're drawing as a source of that water. Sometimes most people don't like to think about this, but we may be the 15th or 16th in line as far as the processing and reuse of that water. So if we have all this fecal matter in that, and then of course the chemicals of all types, industrial, human, and agriculture, what is it that we're intaking into our bodies on a day-to-day basis, and what can we do through a more advanced wastewater system, eliminate that, and what do you do with the discharge once you take all of that out?
Well, Global Water has filed the second of its most important patents for the only wastewater system in the world that will eliminate the wastewater sludge and recycle the wastewater effluent for total reuse, including for potable water. Okay. Using Global's new wastewater recycling system, the wastewater comes into the system. 24 hours later, there is no sludge, and the effluent that can come out will be better than an Evian bottle.
Now I'm going to interject a question right now, Alan. Having on my holidays, I spend time going to wastewater treatment plants and farm lots and things like that. So I'm used to seeing lots and lots and lots of sludge and various waste. So how is it in 24 hours that we end up, millions of gallons coming in, and you're saying nothing's coming out the other end? What's happening to it? Where's the magic wand that you're waving over all this through Global Water Group?
I wish I could say it was totally magic for us, but it was the basic concept is using air and enzymes, no bad chemicals, to eat up all the organics. And this actually was created probably 50 years ago by biologists in the oil and gas industry. They don't have sludge fields and drilling operations in the Gulf of Mexico or the Caspian Sea. So they had to figure a way how to get rid of the sludge. And they did. On a land-based wastewater system, they use an anaerobic system, which creates sludge. And even when some land-based systems say they use aeration, they use it at a different point in their system, which really doesn't work. And that's the bottom line. And the two entities, civil engineers that create land-based systems and biologists that created the systems for the oil and gas fields, they don't talk to each other, evidently. But I began talking to myself when I learned about both of them and said, we can use that technology, speed it up, make it much more efficient than it was in the past, so that we eliminate all of those organics. Once we do that, we're into water purification. Now we go into regular purification that I would refer to as removing all the parasites, removing all the hazardous chemicals, killing all the bacteria and viruses, and you have totally reusable water, whether it's for agriculture, whether it's for maintenance, whether it's for anything, including the use as replenishing our aquifers, our reservoirs, to drink the water.
Well, as you know, Chuck is sitting right beside me, and I'm going to let him go ahead and ask the next question, because I already have two more that have come up out of your last statement. So it's going to be interesting as we share more. But Chuck, why don't you go ahead and ask the next question?
Alan, we well know the challenges concerning wastewater treatment around the world, and that wastewater byproducts are contaminating the waterways and rivers all over the world. You only have to look at footage from places like India and virtually everywhere. In terms of conventional systems for treating wastewater from the past century, we're dealing with these large civil engineered projects. How does Global's technology change that, and how can it again be scalable towards various communities, whether they're villages or a big city like Singapore, say?
As I mentioned before, what we are going to do, you're going to come in with your wastewater into a chamber, and whether that chamber is a modular container or whether it's a concrete basin, it comes into a specific sized chamber in which air and enzymes are constantly moving to eat away all of the organics. As it comes, the clear water comes through that process, we take it into a recycling process where we capture all of the suspended solids, which normally would have gone downstream and be used for somebody else's drinking water. We capture all of them down to about 5 microns. And then we recycle all those organics back to the digester, so they're constantly being eaten out. Nothing comes out of the digester. It is totally dissipated into the air. Whatever then flows through the clarifying process and the recycler, we then put into our water purification unit. Because we deal with modules, whether we're dealing with a city that needs 10,000 gallons a day, or 10 million gallons a day, or 100 million gallons a day, or in Dallas, 400 million, you just keep adding modules. And no matter how big our system becomes, it is always smaller than the footprint of a conventional wastewater system that doesn't work that way.
Now, looking at the energy use and all this, I know that you're consuming, in essence, you're saying through the anaerobic digesting enzymes in there, all of the waste. Many of these municipal systems are taking the sludge, which you're saying you don't want anyway, and they're putting that into state-of-the-art renewable energy systems to actually power what it is that they're doing. So what is the energy source? Are you using renewables like solar, wind, hydrogen, others to run these plants that you're putting in? Or is it coming off the grid? How are you really bringing the power to this type of system?
First of all, the power requirement in our wastewater system is relatively low. It takes 1 kilowatt per 1,000 gallons of processing, which is really quite low.
What would that be in a conventional system if we can do a direct comparison, Alan?
About the same, and now you've got all the problems of dealing with the sludge. That does not include hauling away the sludge, the contamination of the sludge. They don't just use the sludge straight out for power. They have to treat it and deal with it. And when you get down to it, what do you have in the sludge? If that sludge has heavy metals and other problems in there, and you haven't cleaned them out and they don't, then what are you going to do? Burn that? Put it into the air to breathe? You will hear a lot of people talk about taking the sludge and using it for fertilizer. I'm not sure I like my vegetables and my animals that are raised using water that has heavy metals or other things in there. Now, does it all have it? No. But it probably doesn't pay to use that for a power source when you can use other things that are being developed.
Okay, thanks, Alan. That's a good clarification. We have time for about 2 last questions. Chuck, I'm going to let you ask one, but Alan, you got to be short in your answer.
I'll
Chuck?
try.
Well, we've talked about wastewater and the need for potable water in the world. Tell us how this addresses the lack of potable water in the world and how wastewater can effectively be recycled with your systems.
The first thing is obviously droughts. All of California, the Texas areas, all are suffering from droughts. If they had our system for their wastewater system, we would be able to purify water to put back in their reservoirs, and they wouldn't have a water shortage. In 2002, Singapore began recycling wastewater effluent. Now, they still have an old sludge system, but they went through cleaning as best they could the effluent, and they bottle it under a brand called New Water, and it's one of the largest selling bottled waters in Singapore. And it took over 10 years for the world to start to accept it. 10 years from now, we will be drinking recycled wastewater.
Alan, in one sentence, where is global water going to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years?
I would expect with the 2 patents we have with our new nanofilter and with our wastewater recycling patent, while we're a very small...
Got one sentence.
We will be very large.
Okay, thank you very much. Alan Weiss, CEO of Global Water Systems, and Charles Chuck Botwick is sitting beside me. Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.
Thank you.
Good job, Alan.
This is firstgov.gov, where we're obsessed with getting you government information.
Brand new student loan applications on the site, baby. This calls for a celebration. Where's your uncle?
So in the end, it was either take the astronaut gig or come work here. What can I say? Duty called.
Dude, that's my cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's Sam's cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No. Sam's. No.
Just log on or email us and get what you need.
C, change of address form. That's how it's done.
D, driver's license renewal.
E, emailing Social Security information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, we'll allow it. All right,
What are those?
Government surplus cars for auction.
You posted those online last time.
No, you did.
I'm posting them online this time.
For all your government information, firstgov.gov.
Oh, what have we got here? Sometimes you feel tired. You can't seem to lose those extra pounds off your midsection. And your joints hurt when you take the stairs. Well, you're getting older. But I'm happy to say that there's some simple things we can do to keep you happy and healthy for years to come. We can also lower your risk for some serious diseases the older population is often subject to. Proper nutrition is more important than ever. Your body has changed, you know. Not as many treats. A basic exercise plan, lots of walks and fresh air, and most importantly, come and see me for twice-yearly checkups to help ensure the best possible quality of life. Now, how does that sound? Good boy.
Improve the quality of life for your elderly pet. Schedule twice yearly checkups that include preventive care and regular lab work. A message from the veterinary members of the American Animal Hospital Association.
We're back to the Inside Scoop Emerald Planet. Here again, your host, Dr. Sam.
Hello and welcome to the Emerald Planet as we come to you from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations looking for those 1,000 best practices as we try to take the people that are going to be coming to the planet, some 9 billion by 2050, and increase the quality of life, quality of living, and provide them with the things that they truly need. I'm Dr. Sam Hancock, the President, Executive Director of Emerald Planet, Director and host of the Emerald Planet TV, as we come to you weekly looking for those best of the best. And I have a gentleman sitting right beside me. This is Charles. He goes by Chuck H. Botwick, who is the Managing Director of the Dulles Technology and Trade Center. And also, I need to start charging you by the word on all this, but the CHB Infrastructure, Technology, and Marketing Group, and that's how we know. But we know this Dulles Technology and Trade Center is actually expanding and growing and becoming a very important part as you develop something you're calling this think tank. What is the think tank for the Dulles Center?
Well, the think tank is exactly nothing more than a collection of world-class individuals that are subject matter experts in a range of topics and domains and experiences in their life that together bring lifetimes of experience and networks to solve complex problems.
Well, looking at the think tank, we know that there's literally tens of thousands of subject matter experts, as we call them, in the Washington, D.C. area. In the Mid-Atlantic region, they come here from all over the globe, every nation on the planet, 214 countries and territories, come to the World Bank and the Organization American States and the International Monetary Fund, right, and hundreds and thousands of others. So looking at this vast number of people, but also the infrastructure of that, what is your concept of the think tank to reach out to so many people and bring them back in, many of these are retirees, into the needs of what's going on around the globe?
Well, these individuals that have a lifetime of experience have the ability to help to integrate solutions that are complex in the world that require more than just one point of view. And also the key thing is that these individuals that are the professionals that have 30, 40-year careers have broad networks which can enable new technology to be applied and to be shown in different sectors of the economy.
Yeah, looking at these number of people that are out there, and these people that have 30 to 40 years worth of professional experience, probably in many cases at the minimum. And so when you look at that expertise, all the education, because these are very highly educated, engineers and technologists of all kinds, public administrators, educators, looking at all that in the aggregate, I mean, you've got literally millions of hours of education, right, and talent that's been honed, around the globe. So how do you motivate people that have been working for so long, so hard, and then say, okay, why don't you come back in and give us another 15 to 20 years at least out of your life when they may want to go play golf or go sailing or whatever it is that they thought they would be doing at the end of their career?
Well, the Dulles Tech Center is creating a very unique and energetic activity that's attracting people that have, maybe they're retired and they have tremendous expertise. They might spend some time with their kids or traveling, but that they can spend 10% of their time with us or 150. But they're very attracted to the idea of using what they know to do some good in the world and to exercise their brain. So the think tank is about exercising some very good brains to help people around the world with good solutions.
Now, looking at the think tank, and let's say we have challenges, going on in the Middle East and Africa, Asia. How do you connect these people, or how will the center in turn, bring this vast resource of people, so that we know who they are, what their expertise may be, and then in turn be able to put them out into the world so they can do good, whether they're doing it remotely, telecommuting, or they're physically going to these locations around the planet?
Well, I'll use an example. Right now we have a challenge to create a world-class team to handle potential disasters in the Western Hemisphere, in the Caribbean and Latin America. This requires a huge network of people that have contacts throughout the hemisphere, but also subject matter experts in all kinds of domains for providing housing, power, water, shelter, and the small businesses and other implementers that they know from their careers that can actually get things done.
Now, I know many of these people either have been professors at various universities in their postings abroad, or they would like to have been professors, and now they have this teaching and education mentorship itch. So how are you incorporating that into the Dulles Technology and Trade Center so that they're not only doing, say, the consulting, the mentorship part, but at the same time they may actually be doing teaching, either at a professional certificate level or maybe even providing formal education courses through various universities?
Well, the Tech Center is very focused on training as being a prime objective and activity. And of course, people that have those lifetime of learning have an awful lot to offer. So we're providing exercises and training, incorporating think tank members to assist with programs that can provide continuing education credits or to help educate different groups on available technologies, unintended consequences, integration of new tech that's happening every day.
One of the things that people are becoming more and more aware is that we need to have multiple languages to really reach out into the world and provide not only information but also comfort in time of great stress and need. One of the things, Chuck, we've talked about that of these mega cities are now evolving all over the world, 10 million. Some of these will be up to 30 million people. Even Tokyo today as well, almost 33 million people within the Tokyo metropolitan area. So looking at that, how do you identify those various languages, either the 49 to 50 major languages or the ones that are more remote, and how do we match those so it's the subject matter as well as the language to the need?
Well, in the Washington, D.C. area, we're fortunate to have over 190 embassies, and we could probably find a subject matter expert that can speak any language that we would require. So the international character of Washington is a gift for us in terms of having the Tech Center and having think tank members that can be brought in that can talk to people in just about any language you can imagine.
We think of Washington, D.C. as the United States capital, in a sense, kind of a capital that services the world because of all the international bodies that are located here, headquartered here. And yet it's almost like a large country town in many countries around the globe. You think of India and China, many other countries. It's about 650,000 plus or minus within the metropolitan downtown area, and that's it. And of course, the whole surrounding area is in the 3 to 5 million range, but that's a very small area. Even though we all complain about the traffic and getting around, we know other world capitals that it really is very easy. So why Washington, D.C., and why would the world people that need to know and experience and be connected through this think tank would say that's an easy thing to do, is to interact with Washington, D.C.?
Well, every day of the year, delegations from all over the planet are coming to Washington, mostly through Dulles Airport, or they may come through other ports of entry and come here But it really is an unparalleled center. There's no other place in the world like it in terms of an international community. So we've entertained delegations from Nepal, Kenya, Israel, all over the world. They all come to Washington, and we have the access and transportation to help everyone get here. So.
One of the things, and you've mentioned this a time or two actually during the time we've been talking right now, but the embassies. This is an incredible resource that we have in Washington, D.C.
Yes, it is.
And it's almost like it's running in a parallel universe unless you're very much involved, you know, in international development and all these other various issues. So what kind of outreach can you have with the embassies that make them feel like that no longer we're running in tandem as a parallel universe, but this is actually a universe that's working very closely together and one benefits the other?
Well, we're outreaching and talking to embassies all the time, and also organizations of different countries in the world, from Organization of American States, for example, or National U.S. Arab Chamber of Commerce, or all kinds of different blocks of countries. What the Tech Center offers is to help work with the attachés of the country to solve their most pressing problems. U.S. technology is considered and sought after all over the world, but we're a gateway both to technology from all over the world, but we're also a gateway to the whole world through Washington.
Yeah, looking at, and this will be our last question, because as always, we never have enough time, Chuck, to get over all this, but there's over 7,300 NGOs, non-governmental organizations right here.
Good point.
So in about 30, 35 seconds, how do we bring them into the fold, make sure they're not a parallel universe just like many times the embassies are?
Right. Well, we're trying to leverage through organizations of NGOs, actually. There's an association for everything in Washington, and we have groups that are involved in disaster work, relief work, international multilateral organizations. So we're working extensively through organizations to leverage into their membership.
I tell you, I think it's absolutely fantastic, and actually we are now out of time, so we're going to be moving forward. So Charles Botwick is the Managing Director of Dulles Technology and Trade Center. We'll leave it at that. And anyway, Chuck, thank you for being out and sharing about this, because what you're doing with the Dulles Technology and Trade Center is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Sam.
And it's amazing it's taken this long for the time to come. Thank you for being with us as we look around the globe to create the Emerald Planet.